Link engaged.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Game 3 of semifinal number 1. Now, why is this so important, Chill? Well, I'll tell you. Because either of these players want to make it into the TSL 3, they've got to win this match. The person that doesn't has no chance. There's no qualifying points that will save either of them. They must advance on in order to keep any chance alive of being in the TSL 3. And that is almost as awesome as the prizes that will be given out and have been given out every week here for the TeamSpeak TeamLiquid.net Open. Chill, take us away. Reveal, if you will, the starting positions.
All right, so the mystery has been solved. We're here on game number 3 on Lost Temple. Spawning in the 12 o'clock position, we have Baz, but that is just his pseudonym. A lot of people going to know him as Mloud, the Terran player, just going to drop an SCV looking for that Overlord. He's not going to find it because our Zerg player is tucked away down at 6 o'clock in cross positions. We have our green Zerg, sixjax.ViBE.
Yep, and, based off of how he played in that last game, this is a little bit different. There's no back rocks to get a nice sneak. You can, I guess, drop into your opponent's main. But now suddenly it's there's no way we can see a Zerg style exactly similar to what we saw in the last game. Now, again, the reason why I've kind of highlighted ViBE a little bit is because he took down 2 very awesome Terrans on his road here. All About You and Brat OK. So, I think that gives him a lot of credibility. But, man, Baz had such an amazing level of execution in game number 1 that he looks like a completely capable player who could take out this person.
To be frank, I think ViBE was just a victim of circumstance, being close positions on Metalopolis. I think ViBE is the kind of Zerg player you don't want to let him kind of dig in and get comfortable. And I mean, he's going to be comfortable. These positions do not favor Mloud at all. ViBE putting down a 15 hatchery, he's going to be really comfortable to go up to Mutalisk. And then in these positions, very easy for the Zerg player to take his third base at the gold once he gets those destructible rocks out. Mloud trying to respond by taking a very quick expansion here, a 19 command center after only having 1 Marine guarding the choke. Now going to go to try to assassinate that drone, but drone, whoa! He's got his Nikes on, doing a little bit of juking there, broke the Marine's ankles. Now going to swing around, sees no gas is taken from Mloud, and meanwhile Zerg player ViBE going to take his 18 extractor, it looks like. Once that spawning pool is up, going to drop those queens and get to mining at his natural.
Interesting. So he takes his gas. He's going to move his barracks down, build a second barracks at the choke, and we've seen Terrans do this and reinforce at that choke. Drone cancels off of the hatchery and then, off of the extractor and then gets back on. We see a mule come down. A few lings are coming out right now, and man, there's a pretty big hole right there still for these lings to get through. No, they don't have speed. No, it's not on the way, and there goes the supply depot to cover up that wall, but could give a little light bulb in the head of the Zerg to say, okay, there's another weak spot here in the armor and the chink of the Terran player. Let's see if they can exploit it. The Terran player actually ahead in harvester count right now by just a little bit, 20-19 as we get ready. I'm surprised that, from the Zerg, we haven't seen much other than just straight up droning, and that's okay. He feels comfortable enough. He's got Overlord with vision. He knows exactly what's going on, and he can kind of choose to play this portion of the game out as he pleases.
Yeah, he's got 100 gas now, so he hasn't invested that in metabolic boost yet. I'm going to imagine that he'd drop that before going layer, but he may just feel comfortable. He's got the Overlord hanging over Mloud's base. He may see that there's no real need to get Zergling speed right away. He can just invest that in higher tech. Putting down the evolution chamber, actually, I like that. He knows he doesn't need Zergling speed that quickly. I'd like to see him go layer as he's got a surplus of minerals and gas here, and then he's probably going to have enough if he times this right to have +1 on the way right when that evolution chamber finishes. But looks like that's just I guess a fantasy of my imagination, because that's not what he's going to do. He's instead getting melee attack first, and still no layer on the way, still a surplus of gas. So really our Zerg player here hasn't made a decision of what he wants to do yet. Meanwhile, Mloud going to put down that bunker just in case there is any sort of baneling bust. He's going to reinforce his supply depot with another supply depot and gonna get a factory as well. Looks like it's gonna be a marine heavy composition with medevacs and siege tanks backing it up, as we would expect to see. He's dealt with that extractor on his refinery now, or excuse me, on his Vespian Geyser. Gonna drop a refinery there. Zerg player taking out the gold rocks. I mean, everything is just looking pretty standard, nothing crazy, despite the really late layer. I don't know why he's not getting a layer.
Or a baneling that, I mean, one of the two, you know, stockpiling that gas. Now we've got speed down. And we've got a lot of Lings out on the field now. We did see a stream of Marines that was exiting from the Terran base, but they have decided to return home. Now Lings are going to make their way over. They'll take out this one Marine and regain vision here at the Xel'Naga Tower. Now, the Lings can move forward, but with such a reinforced wall, there's nothing that they can do at this point. He basically needs banelings if he wants to get through there. So he is going to take his third, and we do finally have a baneling nest on the way. So still no lair. He may just literally be stockpiling these Lings, spending the money so he could stay down, and eventually has the plan to just make it in slow banelings or not. If he could do it before that siege modes finishes, there could be some significant damage done to the Terran.
Yeah, I don't think ViBE has any intention of doing any sort of bust here. I think what he wanted to do was just get enough speedlings that he has map control. If the Terran pushed out, he would just crush that with Lings, and meanwhile, he's going to delay his tech and take the gold base, and that's what he's got, his third hatchery there at the gold base. We should expect to see a layer sometime.
I see banelings. I see a lot of banelings, chill.
I can't imagine that he would try to break through this. It's just so late.
I am a Zerg psychic, man.
All right, here we go. A lot of banelings and Lings moving towards the wall, which is unfortunate because we have Terran buildings in the air. And here we go. Lings and banelings moving forward. A lot of surface area. Banelings busting right through, moving straight in, taking out a lot of Marines, a lot of bunkers up. Marines trying to run away, but oh my god, banelings taking out so much, and now moving towards the SCV line. SCV's in full retreat. Actually didn't do an extreme amount of damage. He did break through and put a lot of pressure on the Terran, but didn't finish the job. But that's not even an issue because he's got his gold base up and he's got his lair on the way. So that was the most nonsensical, poorly timed baneling bust that I've ever seen. But it works, so what can I say?
And anytime we see stuff blowing up, it's going to be good. Now, I don't know. I mean, all of a sudden, the Terran has to put this focus on crap. I have to reinforce all this. There could be another bust coming our way, and here it comes. We've got bust number 2. And when you've got these positions and you've got a third base and you know your opponent's going to turtle up, why not do this? The banelings are going to be able to completely strip 3 more supply depots. The Terran is well ahead of supply, so it won't make that big of a difference. But siege mode is up, and that's going to help out the Terran a ton. These banelings got to get in and do some major damage, and no, the banelings won't really do anything. He just does manage to get through there, and it does look like that. Oh my god, the orbital command might have been the target, but again, stopped short. But suddenly now the Terran, crap, I've got to, repair all this and get another bunker up, etc. We don't see, well, we got to see 20 more Zerglings coming out here. But, oh my gosh, I totally missed it, Jill.
Yeah,
we got 2 siege tanks up here. Bad news.
We've got the old-fashioned turbo newbie going on. For anyone who played, I guess 2001 Brood War might recognize this from Lost Temple. The thing that sucks about Blizzard's StarCraft 2 interpretation of Lost Temple is that your gold base can get sieged from the same position that your natural can get sieged, and with the Spire at 37 HP at this point, he's not going to get mutas out in time, and that layer is going to go down. He's dropping a few Marines to just be annoying, take out the drones, but he's going to shut down both the gold and the natural. And what do you do as a Zerg player? You have to just lick your wounds and take another base or stall until your Spire gets up. And this is kind of the cyclic, I guess, I don't want to say rock, paper, scissors, but kind of the cycle that we see in strategy games is if you go for economy, you're susceptible to tech, and that's exactly what we're seeing here as a Terran player laughs, sits these 2 siege tanks on the high ground, and just rains down terror on the Zerg player.
Yeah, and of course he can't rebuild that yet, and is almost thankful it is a gold base. It won't put him behind that much. And we are going to see 5 mutas on their way. Now, one missile turret's down, a second one is up. And versus 5 mutas, you know, the missile turret's going to probably be able, especially when 2 are up, we're probably going to be able to take out a muta too, so he's going to have to be careful about that. Doesn't want to give up a whole lot of units. We also see an armory on the way. We see +1 ground weapons for the Terran, combat shields as well. So he has recovered very nicely from that frontal bust, and I think you're right. I think like 1 or 2 more banelings, or maybe just some better control. He almost crippled the economy completely. Of course, the Terran was able to reverse that, and here the mutas are out. They do take out one, and look at these turrets. Wow, and there it is. You gotta watch
turrets
out
are pretty
for the
good.
muta controls. Yep.
Turrets are pretty good in StarCraft 2, and I mean, what do you even do at this point? You can't use mutas to take out the tanks. He's gonna go poke around in the main base, but what just died in the main? Did something just burn down, or there's a giant gaping hole? Maybe that's a bunker that was salvaged, which makes more sense than something dying. But we can see ViBE taking the 3 o'clock main, which actually got scouted by a medevac with an SCV in it about 2 minutes ago, and he finally got the units able to deal with that, and a stim and shut down this expansion. And with Zerg only having Mutaling, I don't think there's anything you can do to save this base. You probably just let it go and just let the tears flow and put it past him. As a hatchery going to go down, the Queen gives birth to, I guess, is born just to die. And that, what do you do in this spot as ViBE? Like, what options does ViBE have left?
I don't know, but I think before I even attempt to answer that, I want to say I think Baz deserves a lot of credit, because although he did lose a lot of Marines and had to rebuild his front there in those frontal attacks, he's like, okay, well, I've got medevacs and I've got siege tanks. Well, that's the obvious answer of what I do. So, I mean, he really kind of responded with a proper counter, and it completely crippled the Zerg. I mean, it's almost like the Zerg was crippled a little bit, and then one day could walk, got out of the wheelchair, you know, and started crossing the street, and like a car hit them and they got crippled again. It's really, really bad, because I don't think there's anything. And here we go. We're going to have the Zerg army moving out to the middle along with the Terran, and there are just so many Marines, only Lings, and a few mutas. Finally, we're going to see some banelings more. But it's going to be too little too late at this point. The Zerg sitting off one base. The Terran knows that there's another base out there. They're not stupid. You're not going to hide it from them. And it's totally cut off from the Zerg at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the supplies tell the tale here. We're at 61 for Zerg, and Zerg realizes it. Calling GG, trying to take down a 141 supply Terran is not going to happen. So that means we're going to see Mloud advance to the finals, and we're going to, unfortunately, even though I really liked his Zerg play, we're going to say goodbye to ViBE. He's going to finish in 3rd place / 4th place. And what does that mean? He's going to take home $25 for his efforts. And unfortunately, he's going to be eliminated from TSL number 3.